Today we have the ultimate pleasure of interviewing Fay Shih, the owner of PoleActive. Fay, welcome. Welcome. We're so excited to have you interview you today.
So excited.
Thank you for starting the day off with this.
Great way to start.
It's a good energy booster.
Oh yeah, I know. Gets you up and going right away, that's for sure.
How long have you been pole dancing?
I have been pole dancing for 4 years. I started in 2014, but I got injured almost right away because I was just too ambitious. So I got injured almost right away. So I had to stop for a good half a year, 9 months, and I started again in 2015. So I would say on and off for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What got you into it? How did you find pole dancing?
I watched YouTube videos. That's how I saw pole dancing.
That's how you saw it? Was on YouTube? You first saw
it
pole
was
dancing
on YouTube, right? I first saw it was before Instagram was popular. So I was watching YouTube videos and I saw some pole dancing video and it was amazing. I think I started pole dancing through Groupon. I was bored. And I was like, I need some activity after work. So I was just shopping on Groupon. I was like, oh, pole dancing lesson. I would try that. And started. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people got started.
I think so too. Just being curious and wanting something different. Yeah, that's a lot of what I hear. Anytime any new people come through, they're like, I just needed something different, and I saw it, and I was in awe. So yes, okay. Now
exactly. I signed up for the monthly unlimited, the second class. Yeah, I was like, I had to do this regularly all the time.
Yeah.
You just get addicted to it really quick. Yeah, it happens.
Exactly. And then you look at the teacher, you're like, oh, they can do this and that, and they make it look so easy.
It's one of those, I want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
The impossible seem possible. That's honestly how I felt about pole. Just the impossible possible. I'm like, how did you do that? How do we do that? It is possible.
How do you make it look so pretty?
So pretty, yeah. That's always you can do the move, but making it pretty, that's like the next step.
Right. There's a lot of muscle coordination going on.
Yeah, right.
Then you have to get out of it pretty too, and that's where the real challenge is.
Right, yeah, I know.
Exactly. Not just falling onto the ground. Which I'm still there, but working on that.
Yeah. So prior to getting into pole dancing, did you have any athletic experience, or any dance experience, or did you just go into it?
I danced in high school. I was in the hip hop teams. I've always been interested in dance. I would take classes here and there, but I danced for 2 years in high school. When I take classes, I will always take the dance class, even at 24-hour fitness when I was still going there. They will offer their hip hop dance class, and I will always be one of those in one of those classes.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. I love dance as a form of fitness too, and I love that pole dancing sort of incorporates all of that. You can do, real fitness, acrobatic, strength training stuff, or you could just dance and get a workout that way too. So yes,
exactly. It's just good cardio.
You said you like to do hip hop style.
Yeah.
Does that flow at all into your style as a pole dancer, or does it kind of stay separate? Do you find that it inspires your pole dance moves?
Yeah, so I really enjoy the flowy stuff on the pole. I like hip hop, but I don't feel like I'm comfortable enough in pole yet to incorporate, which I really think someone should hip hop with pole. But for me, I'm still I love flowy stuff. Rolling on the ground around the pole, Marlo kind of flowy stuff.
Right. Really that was our next follow-up is so clearly there's influence and there's inspiration that you found. So who are your top influencers that kind of have given you your favorite pole style? So you like the low flow, you like the slow sensual.
Yeah.
So who inspired that?
Marlo is my all-time favorite and inspiration. I tell her every time I see her, I'm just when at Pole Expo, she comes to my booth, I'm just take everything. You can anything you want. And
we're not worthy.
You're my hero. I love her style, the low flow and just fluidity where you're dancing to lose yourself in a dance kind of style. I love that. And Tito Jane, she was my OG inspiration. I follow her on Instagram before I even started pole dancing.
What do you think about how pole dancing is evolving and how popular it's becoming?
I definitely think that pole dancing itself is evolving as a sport, as an art, as a dance, and it's so many style is popping up left and right, and like I really like the variety and then the variety of the type of dance that's available for pole dancers. So yeah, when I first started, I mean, maybe I wasn't as exposed to it 3-4 years ago, but it's definitely growing, and it's definitely evolving in its own form. And I just love how there's so many different types of pole style in pole dance, like just like regular dance. There's hip hop, there's ballroom dancing, and there's salsa dancing, and that's the great thing about pole dancing is that you can incorporate all of these. And pole is just an apparatus. You can just incorporate all of these into your pole routine, or your, it just flow with the music. It's really,
it encourages that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I love that. And love that about pole too, is that it really is it's like the people's dance movement. I feel like it really is it's for everyone. It's for people that, they just want an outlet or an expression for themselves, or if they want something that's a little bit more, which, I know that. So have you seen, and I'm curious, have you noticed popularity through business? So has your business been increasing at all? And has that sort of given you a little bit of an idea into what the growth is in the community, or do you think people are just getting more involved?
Yeah, I'm conflicted. I'm not sure, because business is definitely growing. I'm not sure if it's like the existing people who are already in pole that just got exposed to my business and they're like, oh, I want some new pole gear, or like new people. I mean, I think I get both, because I would get customer emails and they're like, I just started pole dancing, and would you have any recommendations for me? So I definitely see both sides.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's good to see that community as a whole is growing.
Either way, they're finding out about PoleActive. That's just up.
Exactly.
Very cool.
How would you like to see pole dancing evolve? Like, we know that it is growing, it is evolving, but what direction do you want to see it go in? Like in the next couple of years.
I want to see it being more available for everyone.
Good point.
I know a lot of people are intimidated by the idea of pole, and they're like, oh, I can't do pole because I'm too weak in the arm. Like, that's why you do pole.
Too whatever.
So I feel like a lot of people still get intimidated, and then they get scared away by the stereotype or stigma per se. But I just want people to be educated about how versatile pole can be. It's not just, I'm not trying to dissociate pole dancing with exotic stripper style, but I just want people to be educated and know that there are many different styles.
It's so much more than that.
You can combine breakdancing with pole, and it doesn't make it any more sexual just because it has a pole next to it. I remember seeing those videos online of those pole where you can install in your yard, and they use some little cute gymnastic kids in the video, and then it was amazing. They're so great at doing what they do, and then people still get really offended that they are sexualizing the kid, which I don't see at all. So I really think it's the people who are seeing it, then anyways.
It's on monkey bars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's at the beginning, ballet was really sort of stigmatized as well because of, the extensions and the exposure. I mean, the punani's out and open, your body's contorting in all these positions. But, as someone who has, I've worked in strip clubs before. I've seen every different type of style of pole dancing, and I 100% agree. I mean, there's a place for exotic, there's a place for fitness, there's a place for flow, there's a place for floor work, there's a place for everything.
There's a place for everything. It doesn't have to exclude anyone.
No, not at all. I've seen
Unite is stronger.
Yes, that's what we're all about. Yes.
It's like the community's one of the best communities I've come across.
I really love it.
And just making that stronger is going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, now we're going to dive into a little bit more on you and your business, your awesome PoleActive business. So what exactly, let's see. So what kind of job did you do before PoleActive? And whatever it was, did you like it?
I was in corporate finance before I started PoleActive.
Okay.
Finance, accounting, I was a CPA. I like the challenge. I'm actually back at my old job right now temporarily as a consultant.
Yeah.
I like the challenge, but I don't like the repetition. I don't like sitting there from 9 to 6. And that's why I started Pole, because I'm like, I need some outlet. I need to
there it is.
Get my ass off the chair and just move. And that's how I started. And then I would say I really enjoyed the challenge. I always knew I wanted to start something of my own. I knew that I didn't want to be in office all the time.
What inspired PoleActive? So since, you were working before, you sort of had, you were working in CPA, a little bit of financing. So what was the turning point for PoleActive?
Yeah. So I always knew that I wanted to do something of my own. And what happened was the idea of PoleActive popped up when I was working. And I'm like, oh, I would just reach out to some brand to be like, hey, do you guys do wholesale? And then they're like, yes, we do. And that's literally how it started. They're like, yes, we do. Here's a price list. Place an order. And once you place that first order, there's no turning back.
Wow. Yeah. You're like, I got to sell this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of how I got started.
Oh, that's awesome. Faye, that's really, really cool. Very, very cool.
It was a first leap, because before you make any commitment, it's just maybe whatever. And then once you place that first order, you're like, I guess I have to really put it together now.
Yeah.
I got to do something.
Now you can make something out of it. What inspired the name PoleActive though? That's such a great name.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm so glad. So well. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear. I think I was driving. I knew that I wanted it to be something pole related, but I didn't want it to be. I wanted to be something fresh, idea. And then I also had some name that's not pole related. That's just personal to me. But I thought it would be the most appropriate since that's my target customer. I think I was listening to radio and I might have heard some phrase or something. And I'm like, PoleActive. Oh, I think that sounds right. Yeah. And then that's how
it just kind of clicked into place.
Yeah, and then I guess it turned out to be a pretty good one because it's it's easy to remember and
Oh yeah. So. No, it's instantly recognizable, and you literally know exactly what you're getting, and that's what people want. You're getting activewear for pole.
Yeah.
Pole active. Perfect. Yeah, it really is. Pulling back a little bit and looking more at a business standpoint, how long did it take, really? Ballpark. How long did it take for you to get PoleActive up and running? I mean, you said you made your first order, and then you have all this stuff. What did you do?
Once I placed the order, it takes about 3 months to put everything together, get all the orders, etc., and the website.
So impressive. Yeah, you got everything up from your website to getting, because you said you only have a few employees, so between getting some employees, I'm sure you did all of it by yourself at first. Yeah, right. So in those first.
I just got the assistant a couple months ago. I mean,
Okay, yeah. So that's really new for you. Basically, up until these past couple months, I mean, it's all been you.
Yeah, and I mean, I will have friends coming over and help me out, but it's usually part time. But I didn't start getting help. Until last year. Yeah, so in the beginning when I was working 2 jobs, I had no help.
Oh my god!
But that's when PoleActive was making $500 sales a month. So I couldn't afford to hire anyone.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's always that.
In the beginning, yeah.
Well, that's still a success.
You used to be in corporate. You're doing a little one-off thing now, but when what was it? What was the moment when you were able to just kind of make that switch to stop your day-to-day job and switch to PoleActive?
So what happened was I remember being in corporate and at my last full-time job, I was in front of a computer and I'm like, I really want to do this, but I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And then lo and behold, my previous employer called me and they're like, hey, what do you think about coming back to work for us? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to go back full time. What about come back and work for us part time and we'll pay you more? And I'm like, that's a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
So I was really star aligned. But I was hesitant at first, because I had to basically leave my stable job where I get paycheck to paycheck, and I had to kind of jump right into it. But I decided to do it anyways because I'm like, this is something I always wanted to do, and it would be I just knew I had to do it.
You had to, of course. Like it seems like it literally, like, again, we're touching on serendipity. It just was meant to happen.
They're like, come back and work for us for 9 months and part-time and this. I'm like, okay, then I will launch PoleActive in 9 months. And that's
oh my gosh.
So I stayed
How
down
did
for
they
like
know?
4 or 5 months, and then like, I started prepping everything PoleActive, and PoleActive launched in September. Yeah. So but I continued to have 2 jobs until like November-ish. So I was like working 2 jobs for a while.
Yeah, hustle girl. What year did PoleActive start?
It was 2016.
Launched 2016, right?
So it's going on its beginning of 3rd year in 2008.
Yeah, this is the beginning of 3rd year.
So 2-year anniversary this past year. Boom, September.
Yes, it's crazy how time just. I remember telling myself, because I was 28 when it started, and I was like, well, I'll give myself 2 years, and when I'm 30, if it doesn't pick up, then like I'm out. I'm gonna go back to corporate. That's what I remember my mindset at the time, because I had this safety net set up so that I could go back.
Yeah,
well, I'm like, it's at the beginning of 3rd year, and it looks like there's no going back. So,
Kay,
I love it.
I can only imagine that you're happier doing your own thing. So
yeah, for sure. Whatever you're working on, it's all for yourself. And I really love that, and then I work so hard, I don't really feel like I work a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're good at it and you like it. So with that all together, obviously helps a lot. So it's really, it's amazing. I love your story. It's like, oh, so things do work out. Like things will happen. You have to work. Obviously there's a ton of hard work and you can never skate over that.
I was
never skate over that.
6-hour days, like for a good couple of months.
Yeah. Wow.
It's one of those. It's not if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. You'll absolutely work, but you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love how it connects me with people, like, really does. It's funny. They're like, you're like the drug dealer for pole wear. They're like,
you open up your code.
I'm just looking at your website again, and can you hook me up with this? I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. It's just like a street corner. Hey guys, I know. Want some pole wear?
I got some G-strings in here. If you really look
good.
I can tell it's out in Cali, like in the trench coat. Prior to creating PoleActive and doing an online store and everything, did you ever do any online retail before? This is like totally new for you. Was it new for you at the time?
Yeah, it was quite new. I've sold something on eBay and on Amazon, but like it was to the extent of that. I've never had like a business or like a website of my own.
You've never had to do the whole thing.
Yeah, I have some experience. I was always an avid shopper online, so so I know like how it works, as a customer standpoint, on the other side. So it really definitely helped.
What the consumers wanted. You're like, as a consumer, I know what the people want. So So you figured that out. You basically kind of figured out all this online stuff on your own. Is that right?
Yeah, and not on my own. It didn't just pop up magically, but
she just got stuff like that. God, just like sparked it in.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Like I just know how to code.
Research and everything, but you did your own research. You took your own time to figure all this out. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've always been like, I just need, when I have a question, I just have this need to find the answer, and Google has been so great. Like Google was my best friend when I started. Usually if you're persistent, like you will find the thing you're looking for. Maybe not at first.
Were there any major hurdles that you came across while developing and creating PoleActive, or is it just starting a business is the hurdle?
Starting it is easiest part, honestly.
Wow.
The jump was, because once you're in it, you're like, okay, I'm here. What now? That's the easiest part. But I was having some problem with, I had a different web hosting services. I don't think it was right for me, and it wasn't what I was looking for, and felt like it was pulling teeth. So for the first 6 months, I was constantly stressed out about, oh, my website is slow, or like this is not working. And I always had to work with my developer at the time, and it was like I had to wait for him. But I'm the type where I'm like, I want something, I want it now.
Results.
If I can solve it myself, I will solve it myself. And I just didn't want to wait for him. So, I'm like,
If you want something done right, you do it yourself. No,
Exactly.
that's not entirely true, but
not necessarily right, but it'll be the way I want it. And then if I make a mistake, then it's on me. You know, I don't have to be frustrated at someone else. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. That's why I cut my own hair.
It seems like basically how you kind of come easy to starting everything off, and you were in corporate finance. It seems like structure is your strength.
I usually have a roadmap of how I want things to go, and I follow that. So I think
like a mind map, a list.
Exactly. Yeah, like a massive to-do list, like a spider web, like a pyramid, right? So it's like that's the goal, and these are all the things that you have to do.
Yeah. Okay, so structure and organization.
Yeah, exactly.
Strengths for sure, without a doubt.
What would you say your weaknesses are, or your weakness that you've discovered through all of this? Like, we all have like two sides of what we're good at and what we could use a little help with.
Yeah, definitely. So my weakness is definitely the creative side of things. I'm good at coming up with the ideas, but not really good at like. I know exactly what I want, for instance, like the creative part of things. I know exactly the look I'm going for, and I know exactly the like how I want it to look, but I don't know how to do it. So that's
so it's the implementation of it.
Exactly, yeah. So like in the beginning, it was difficult to design everything myself, and you can tell if you are subscribed to my newsletter from the beginning to nowadays, like it's definitely evolved a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I used to spend 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out how to write a newsletter, you know, how to put the perfect graphic and find the perfect font so it looks professional, and it still didn't look good.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot.
It really is a lot of work.
So that kind of, like, especially with newsletters and things like that, like that's kind of how they all start out to some degree.
I'm not really good at like creative writing either, so it was like I was having difficult time like coming up with content for social media. You know, I would like always say, oh, beautiful, like, you know, because I'm kind of like I would like post people's video when they look great in their clothes, or when they have like a beautiful flow. But like I always have the same thing to say, like I don't have anything, like I'm not good at creative writing and etc. But then I found a lovely social media manager, and she is. So if you think Instagram is great, it's all of her work. She is amazing, and she does. Shout out to Tanya. She does a great job. And you know, she's great at thinking about funny captions and finding the good. Like she knows exactly what I want. Doing Instagram for fun, like for instance, your personal Instagram, and like doing Instagram for a business, is that you have to be like. If you have an Instagram for a business, you have to be consistent. You know, you can't post like every 3 days, every 5 days, and like in order to keep the engagement up, you have to have the content coming out constantly.
I've noticed that. Yeah, you guys usually have between 1 or 2. I mean, even 3 times a day, which is fantastic. I found PoleActive on Instagram. That's how I found it. Yeah, absolutely. So I've been following you for a while without even knowing it, and I was like, this is awesome. Like it's all in one place, from most expensive to least expensive to glam to simple.
And they're designed for your needs for pole dancer. We had to do varieties, we had to do, so it has to be properly protected. And that's why there's a market for pole dancers, because there's a special need.
Absolutely.
Specific need for, you know, how it should be covered and how it should be structured.
We don't want the goods falling out. Like we don't want like at the club. Yes, let it happen. That's great.
Yeah, sadly it still happens, but there's a way around it.
It does. You get the little G string. You get the little thong underneath the shorts, so that it's like full coverage up there.
Yeah,
guys, take the hammock.
Performance the other day, and then she just recently bought a bodysuit from me. It was like, the bodysuit looks great, it's beautiful, but then she was like, oh, actually the coverage for lower part is a little too little, and then she's like performing in the bar full of people, so she just put another short, a really amazing cute short underneath it, and it looks
I do that all the time, actually, with outfits, because I have a couple bodysuits too, it's like a little bit too showy, so I'll throw another.
It's like pulling on top, that's why it gets a little showy at the bottom, so it's like,
I see, it has to be like the angle the fabric's pulling though.
Little pasties are good sometimes too. I'll wear pasties just in case, well, like underneath my shirt sometimes, but like underneath my pole outfit, just in case like a little neck slip comes out, which has happened I've caught it on video before and I'm like, oh shit. You know, you gotta get this. So thank God for PoleActive.
Put a little flower over it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because it's just, it's not, you don't want that to happen. But
little emoji. And that's why they have, like, I've noticed, like, that's why a lot of Instagram dancers have, like, little emojis in the middle of their things, like, nip slip or something.
Covered up punani. Punani slip. So PoleActive is your full-time job now. PoleActive is like your full-time. This is what you do 100% of the time. And besides, you said you're doing a little bit of work with your
consulting.
Right. So I was doing PoleActive full-time for a while, but like I have really good relationship with my previous employer. That's why that's the same company that enabled me to do this. So thank you, CBRE.
Yes. This was the first company.
I love that. Yeah.
So I was working for them for a while, and so they just kept, because they always need help, you know, and then they just know that I started my own business, and they know that I have more flexible time than most other people. So they're just like, just come back and help us whenever they need. So I want.
Come on, they're probably asking you back because you're really good too at what you do.
Hopefully that's the case. So I'm kind of doing PoleActive, my full time, and I'm doing this on the side just for the time being until the end of the year.
Yeah, why not?
Sorry to any customer if I don't, because usually I respond to customer email within like 2-3 hours. So sorry if I haven't responded to your email. I know it's been 2 days, but I will get to it after the interview. Okay.
She's very good at being in touch. Don't worry about that.
How do you balance it all from the
good question.
Just work, life, and as a dancer?
Yeah.
So you gotta get a little bit of social life in there. You gotta get some more of your own pole stuff, and then you have like this whole business that you created and manage. How do you balance it?
I think it's definitely difficult, especially lately. It's been a little overwhelming. I have to admit. But I guess I manage it by just setting priorities. You know, there are certain things that there are certain things that just need to be dropped when I have so many other important things to do. I also believe in setting routines, you know. So nowadays, when on days that I go to corporate, I will my routine is, okay, I go to corporate from 9 to 6, and then I will, if I don't have to work overtime, I will go right after, because the thing is the studio is kind of on my way home, so I will go to the studio and then work for an hour or two, take a couple classes, and then I'll come home and then finish PoleActive job. So because the thing is, I leave the most important task at the end of the day. One, because I'm more efficient at night for some reason, and second, if I leave the most important task at the end of the day, I know I have to get to it, so I won't slack. I have this book right here where I have every week of all of my to-do list, everything I need to do. I have a to-do list on my phone, and I have it on my calendar, and I have multiple to-do lists. And with my physical to-do list, where I write things on paper, I'm a firm believer of the snowball effect. So what it means is that you have, for instance, you have the pyramid of things that you have to do, right? And then it seems really hard to get to the top of that one big thing that you have to do, but it's divided into these little other little tasks that you have to do. And so what I do is I finish the little tasks instead of looking at the big. I mean, I look at the big picture because that's better, but then I finish the tasks that are the easiest first. You know, things that I can do, you know, without, for instance, packing orders or things that I can do easily. So I'll knock them out so that it feels like you're making progress. So you don't feel like you're stuck at one point for a long time, you know?
Yeah. Checking things off feels good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're out of the 100 tasks, maybe 80 of them are easy tasks, you know, but once you do the easy tasks, you feel like you're making 80% progress.
Yeah. I like that. No, it's a good way to sort of trick yourself into thinking, at least that you're doing, I'm getting a chunk of this done, and it seems you have to do anyway. So it's you know, I got to do it. So
exactly. Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll take some tips from you, Faye. I like what you're putting down there. So you still get pole time. You still get enough pole time. Do you have a pole?
I try to. Lately I haven't been, but I try to when I can.
Do you have a pole at your house?
I do. I never use.
Yeah.
And also I have a short ceiling, so I don't like being at the top of the ceiling in one climb and kicking the ceiling.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
I know those are excuses. There are plenty of people who do great with home pole.
Girl, no, you're like, I'm right there with you. I'll stick to flow and spin stuff so I can get more, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Same.
That's basically it. So I like pick and choose, but yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it, yeah.
So when people ask what you do for a living, what do you tell them? Like, I know there's that stigma around pole dancers.
Yeah,
but
we've touched on that
you're
a
like
little bit.
the pole dancer drug dealer, like you said.
Yeah, it really depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to like a stranger, I'll be like, because sometimes, especially when you're on Uber, they'll be like, so what do you do for a living? Like they would just like randomly ask you those questions, and I'm just like, I have an e-commerce store that I sell clothing online. And then if they ask like what kind of clothing, I'll be like, oh, just workout clothing, like sports bras. Because the thing is not because I'm ashamed of it at all, just because I don't feel the need to explain to someone and like having this full, especially I know the ride is like 10 minutes, I'm just like, I don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But if I'm like talking to a friend, someone who know I ride pole, I'm just like, oh, I have a online store for pole wear.
Somebody could get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, clothes design for pole dancers, and like I consider myself like sometimes it depends on my mood. I'll be like, I consider myself like the Sephora of pole wear, where you can go there.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's a great parallel.
Nowadays, like a lot of time when I tell like a girl that I just met, like if I tell her that I do pole, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, I've been wanting to try for a long time." Like that's the most common reaction that I get from girls nowadays, which I'm like, oh, like I think that people are getting exposed to it, and then they're like, oh, that's something I can do, kind of like yoga or bar, things like that.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed like a lot of the girls are like, hey, that sounds like fun, or I've really been interested in that. And it's
I get the jaw drop a lot.
Yeah, the guys are the ones who have that like stigma because they're used to like strip clubs and stuff like that.
Yes.
Side of it. But girls are like, I can do this with my body. I can do all this stuff. Yeah. There was a guy I recently became friends with, and I'm like, I do pole dancing, and he's like, yeah, that sounds interesting. I'd like to take a class. And then after his first class, he's like, you mean there's exotic competitions and I can wear heels? I am so down for this.
Oh my god!
I'm like, yeah.
He was like, because I can wear heels, I'm even more interested.
Yeah.
And then honestly, like wearing heels is an empowering thing. Like I remember I didn't like to wear heels before, but nowadays like I'm more comfortable in them. And sometimes I just like walk around at home in heels, just cause.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah, just like especially when you get a new pair, just like feeling good, like in your pajamas and wearing heels, it makes it look like you're like onto something.
Just like you're in
your pajamas. Exactly.
You're on. Something's up. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, I love. So do you like So you've been wearing heels more for pole dance and stuff? You said you normally were not really into them at first.
Yeah. So I recently got into Russian exotic style, and it's. I just love the challenge. I mean, all poles are very challenging, but I just love the dance aspect and the cardio aspect of
unique.
And then it's like it let me explore the sexy side of me without feeling vulnerable. I feel like that's the type of dance that really like that makes me feel really empowered when I'm like doing it. So
that's awesome. That's so cool.
It has like a certain level of, I mean, there's a lot of technique that goes into pole in general, but like Russian exotic is like a different level, a different kind of
it's a very specific type of like a body awareness. For instance, like there's a lot of toe boxes. You have to like roll over your toe box, so you're not really on your foot, you're on your toes a lot. So it's almost like ballet.
Yes.
Even though I've never learned ballet before, but you have to be basically on your tiptoeing all the time to extend that line, get that good line. So I think
instead of like the ball.
Yeah.
Like the toe, yeah. Oh, I love it.
I haven't gone on the pole like aerially for a while, but I try to do both.
Yeah, and I mean, you do whatever you want. Yeah, do whatever you want. That's what pole's about, So you work on whatever you want to work on when you want to work on it. So if you're digging the Russian exotic, girl, get it.
What's your favorite part about owning PoleActive?
the intention of having my own business, wanting to have my own business, is that I wanted to have, obviously, time flexibility. I hate I hate sitting in the office from 9 to 6, and like having to ask for a day off when I am sick or things like that. It's always been the time flexibility, and then of course the ultimate goal, financial flexibility at the end. That's the goal. But I also, so that's a big part of why I started PoleActive. But also another big part is of me. I love that I'm able, like I was kind of saying earlier, that I'm like the drug dealer for pole wear. It's not really about, for me, it's not really about the clothing. It's about like the connections I make, and then about how like the clothing can make, like I remember one of my friends telling me that she purchased like a couple set from me a couple months ago, and then she recently started teaching, and she was like, it just feels great to be in those clothes as an instructor, and then she feels like empowered, and she feels like she can be a role model for the students.
So awesome.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that is exactly why I do this. Like,
that's what you're selling.
People feel empowered, and I want them to feel great in the clothing, and not because they want to like show anyone up, or it's never about that. It's always it's about like making yourself feel good.
Yeah,
living your best life.
How they feel is the point, not necessarily like the cash money, or like clothes themselves. Just like how they feel, how you're making tons of other people feel, and just like how they can achieve what they want to.
Exactly. Yeah, and I love that. I love that people come to me for advice for these things. For like, hey, what do you think I should wear for an outfit? Like, what
really?
I don't always recommend things I sell, because I see so much of different things, and I'll be like, oh, maybe you can do this and that, like styling advice. And I'm just like, I love the connection that I'm able to make with PoleActive, and it's been really fun.
You can be sassy, or you can be soft, or you can be
anything you want. That's literally like one of the slogan that I was thinking when I first started PoleActive. I was like, you can be anything you want. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I wanted my brand ambassador to be a man, like a man rocking out PoleActive gear. Like, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be anyone. Like, I mean, like, you don't have to be a specific type of person to wear any. Like, that's why I try to carry a different range of things for people to, so they can select.
Yeah.
Like, really, you can be, like, I want people to feel like they can be anything they want in the clothes that PoleActive is providing. So, yeah.
Oh, you're doing it. Yeah, you're doing that right. It's really, really cool. What do you think makes PoleActive stand out against your, anyone else that's doing an online sort of full store? I mean, how do you, like I said, I kind of feel like we already have, just like talking to you, we can sort of see why it stands out, but what do you think?
I'm trying to provide a platform for people who want to purchase different things for, it's for them to feel however the way they want, right? So that's one thing, but the feedback that I get from my customer is also very important. Like, I'm a true believer of getting feedbacks, positive, negative, even though you can't please everyone. But like, so many of my customers email me, and they're like, they just love my customer service. And that's one thing that really, I guess I'm always been a pleaser. I like to please people, and I want people to be happy. And then it makes me happy when I see they're like, oh, your customer service is amazing. And then thank you for doing what you do. And like, I feel like to my customer, that's what stands out to them, because the experience of shopping with PoleActive.
So, actually, that's why I originally reached out to you, because like your orders confirmed email, it's just like so personal, and it's really refreshing.
There's one thing of how I imagine PoleActive to. I imagine that's how PoleActive stands out, but maybe to my customer. I like PoleActive stands out because of the customer service. I have so many customers, they're like, hey, what do you think about, like, can you give me a measurement of like specific measurement of or they're like, I have this top, what do you think I should match it with? And I'll like give them advices on what I think.
Oh my god,
that's awesome.
It's time consuming.
That's above and beyond.
I actually spend a lot of time on customer service, so I do enjoy it. I really do enjoy it when it's on a good day. It's always good. There are customers who are like, oh, what's wrong with this and that, and then like sometimes I make mistakes too. I'm not perfect, so but I really try my best to accommodate, and then if they can feel good at the end of the day, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel
that
like
is the goal.
That's what a lot of companies will try to be personal, but it just seems fake.
Yeah.
But like that level of like you're giving advice to people and stuff like that, like that's genuine.
And it's not just like, oh, here's a couple things. You're actually, I can see right now that you've actually you take the time to look at their options, and you're probably like, what did they order before? What's their size? What do I have? Like I can see you doing
and
this.
I'm not like, I'm always like, if something doesn't fit or like I don't think it's a good fit, I would straight out tell you. Like I remember at Pole Expo, people will come to my booth and then
that's huge.
They're like buying stuff and then they're like, how does it look? I'm just like, I don't like I feel like something like I'm like
that's awesome.
And I'm like, I know it's probably not what you want to hear, but like I would recommend something else that I think is gonna be better for you.
Yeah.
So that's like I don't want people to buy something that they're gonna eventually regret, because that leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And then they're like, oh, she's just trying to sell me stuff. But no, like I just want you to buy something that's good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I love that.
No, it's emotionally good for you. It's mentally good for you.
It is. If you find something that fits is the best feeling ever when you have.
I can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do, But if they're already gonna do this, like I want them to get the best out of it.
Yeah. But that transparency is also super appreciated. Where you're like, no, I think a different cut, a different style would look better on you. We've got this color. I mean, it's not for anything other than trying to make them their best self. That is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, customer, that personalization, that sort of, direct contact where, even you're so sweet to even you're like, I'm sorry, it's been like 2 days and I haven't gotten back. I mean, I've contacted people, companies that have never gotten back to me about it ever, or they just ghost, I mean, you've been consistent, you've been reliable. That's why people keep coming back to you.
We've all gone to the store and it looked great in the store and you got it home and it looked not as great.
Yeah, and the salesperson is like, oh yeah, you definitely need to get that. And it's like, oh yeah, I really do. And then, you go home and you're like, why did I get this? I can't see that happening with you.
Yeah, and then there's customers who like they come and then they like try out tons of different things and end up didn't buy anything. And I'm like totally okay with it. If they have a good experience, they're gonna go around and tell their friends that the store is available if they're ever have the need to come up.
They had the opportunity to go in and try everything out and that still alone.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. No, really, really beautiful stuff, Faye. Like, really, I'm loving this even more.
Yeah,
I think they're taking out.
Yeah. I think you use the same pen that I do.
The what?
Pen
same
twins.
pen.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah,
are they the one you use?
They write so smoothly.
I have so many different colors. I literally bought like a color pack.
Oh my god,
this is a brown.
I only get black, so I love it.
That favorite one, the purple one.
Oh, I love that color.
I'm liking it.
All right, you sold me on the multicolor.
I love. Faye, that's all we got for you. You answered above and beyond what we wanted. You did thank you so much for taking this time with us. We appreciate it 100 million billion times. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's really a pleasure. I haven't really thoroughly thought about how I got here, but so it's like a great experience for me too, So yeah.
A little bit of
Thank you so much for thinking about me and giving me the opportunity to express what I had to say.
Thank you for being open to chatting with us, because I know not a lot of people are open to talking about like how they got started and everything like that. So
yeah, I've been asked so many times. I figure if I can have this resource, I'll just be like, here's a link. Watch this 2-hour interview.
Yeah, you ever want to know? Take this.
Yeah, exactly.
Joy. Yeah, they'll spend. Yeah, well, they can spend it watching the hour you would have spent explaining. You're like, here's an hour of me talking about it already. Yeah. So let's go ahead on that. No, Faye, you've been wonderful, and like really, we're obviously going to be in touch with you every step of the way because we just like love what you do and everything. But like all the best of luck. Let us know if you need help with anything as well. But like we're really excited for your future in pole dancing in the community because it's already just gotten such momentum. So we're really excited to see where you go.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
It's so fun. It's really been so fun. Thank you for the opportunity.